Hello and welcome to France 24's weekly music show. I'm Jennifer Ben Brahim. Today I'm joined by a pioneering superstar of classical soul. Alexis Ffrench has over 1 billion streams and multiple #1 albums. The British pianist and composer even performed at King Charles's coronation celebrations. Now he's known for redefining the boundaries of classical music, such as on his album Classical Soul Volume 1. And it's about to be re-released, but as piano solos. And he joins me in the studio to tell us more. Alexis, hello and welcome to France 24 Studios.
Great to be here, Jennifer. Thanks for asking me in.
Now, as I mentioned, your album is called Classical Soul Volume 1, and it does have a little bit of a French touch, a French link to it.
Yeah.
You recorded it in Provence at the Studio Miraval, which is owned by none other than Brad Pitt.
Yes, indeed.
How was that experience? I'm guessing it wasn't too arduous.
No, not at all. It was awesome, actually. It was so beautiful. Very tranquil. Wasn't quite sure what to expect, but rolling sort of acres, miles and miles, but this glorious expanse. My wife came with me, as she often does on all the best trips, Jennifer.
She's very good taste in trips.
Very good taste. And she very quickly found the champagne pool. So called because it's the perfect depth to hold a glass of champagne and just have a little paddle at the same time. So that's what she was doing. We went for runs in between the vineyards. But the studio is so beautiful. And I think it's a really unique studio in the world because it has obviously all this unique history. So many illustrious artists have performed there. But it's the spirit of the place. And that's really what I wanted to imbue my music with, hence the choice of that particular venue. And we had a whale of a time.
You definitely hear a sort of influence of Provence, the kind of sunshine throughout the songs. Now, Classical Soul Volume 1 also bridges this gap between, classical and popular music. And it also kind of feels very nostalgic. We really go back to your childhood in many ways. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, well, I guess it's telling the story of my musical awakening. I started playing the piano on a kitchen table. So we didn't have a piano when I was about 3. My dad blasting out music by Stevie Wonder, Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, all the greats. And I wanted to be part of the band, Jennifer. That was my desire. So tapping away on the kitchen table, learning to play, mapping a piano in my head. And when we got a piano at the age of 4, I could play, geographically. I could navigate my way around the piano from those experiences of listening. And it was just so enriching for me, being, learning from the music, assimilating the harmony, the intention, and then gravitating to classical worlds. But then the beauty is the sort of alchemy that happens when those worlds collide. The improvisation, the extemporization, and no borders at all. So this borderless universe of music that enriched my soul forever, really. And that's the story I wanted to tell about pride, nostalgia, but above all, I guess, homage to my parents who introduced me to this great music.
Well, from the kitchen table to concerts around the world, here are some of the soulful sounds from the album. So just some of the soulful artists you covered on your album, from Aretha Franklin to Sam Cooke and the late Roberta Flack. Now you're going to be releasing this album, but a bit more stripped back. It's going to be just for a solo piano collection. Why this choice to re-release it just piano?
These are different interpretations. So the full album, as it were, with symphony orchestra, the full-blown experience has a different aesthetic. But I also recorded separate recordings, separate interpretations. And I wanted to put them out there because they have a different intention and they bring the listener closer to the music, I think, closer to the heart of the soul. And that's what I wanted to do. It's very much soul meets classical. But in this particular, shall we say, pianistic expression, the listener gets a really authentic and close-up experience.
Now, I mentioned in the introduction to the show that you've played concerts in some amazing places for some amazing historical moments. I mean, one of them, probably the most impressive one of recent times, is at King Charles's coronation in 2023. What was that experience like? And I believe that was not actually the first time that you met him.
No, it's quite a long story, although I'm not sure whether he will recall himself. But when I was at school, the patron of our school was Prince Charles, as he was then, of course. It was when I was about 14 years old, and I was in an art class. It's called the Purcell School of Music, very small school, specialist music school. We were in GCSE art, Jennifer. I remember it very well. Prince Charles came down and reviewed all of our paintings, and I spoke to him about this particular portrait that I was drawing. We were very proud of him as a school, both collectively and individually, because of what he stood for. His passion for the arts, the things that he said, and I remember it then being very proud of Prince Charles, and also just on the world stage, I'm proud of what he represents. And so when the opportunity came to both perform for his coronation, of course I grasped it with both hands, as I did when I was asked to perform a tribute to Her late Majesty the Queen, which I did at Westminster Abbey, and these huge images from her life were beamed onto the piano as I played her favourite piece. These moments are so special, and I'm so privileged and honoured to be a part of that.
Definitely lasting memories. Now, you're also a great advocate for the arts and for music, of course, and you seem really passionate about universal access to music education. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, well, my story, of course, I'm here because of the opportunities that I was given as a child. My father and his ambition and his foresight, but also the professors, the places that I studied, the Royal Academy of Music, the Purcell School of Music, the Guildhall. Not everybody has these same opportunities, and I'm really passionate about giving back to as many people around the world as possible. And I'm fortunate in that I get to do that through the Associated Board of the Royal Schools of Music, of which I'm artistic director. It's an extraordinary organisation that is a force for good in over 93 countries around the world. Progressing grassroots musical progress, examinations, of course, but and is partnered with so many organisations that enrich people's lives through music, and I feel so honoured to be a part of that organisation.
Yeah, you definitely mentioned, I got to see you actually perform last night in Paris. It was a great show, and you did talk about the importance of music kind of bringing people together and, being borderless. So it's...
Yes, indeed.
So music education is important. Now we're going to quickly talk about some other music releases, starting with a duo who are sharing their love story through music. And now that is real-life couple Selena Gomez and music producer Benny Blanco. They're dropping their collaborative album called I Said I Love You First, and it really chronicles how they met, how they fell in love, and their recent engagement. Now, their latest single off the album is Sunset Boulevard, and that is a nod to where they actually had their first date. Take a listen.
Love me till I die. Bury me with roses. I know you're awfully shy, but I can't wait to hold it, to hold that big, big heart, with open arms, holding you naked, middle of Sunset Boulevard.
Okay, so that's Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco. Are you a fan? What you just heard?
I do like that, actually. Yeah, it's quite sort of sultry and lots of dimensions to it. So, yeah, I think I'll be digging that out and having another listen.
Okay, very good. Now, speaking of collaborations, you actually teamed up with Congolese superstar Fally Ipupa on the track Soar. What was that collaboration like? Why did you want to team up with him?
I love African music. I love African music. I think the continent is rich with culture and just so much invention. And I wanted a piece of that for the album. Do you know what, Jennifer? I imagined what would a sort of Beethoven triple concerto be with piano, a cello, and vocals, African stylings vocals. And I also love Afrobeats as well, although Fally doesn't sing Afrobeats. That's not what he calls his music at all. So I combined all of those elements, produced also the symphony orchestra that feature on the track. Not only Fally, but it's also got Kevin Alusala, superstar of pentatonics on the track as well, playing the cello. And performing with them was just absolutely unbelievable. You know, I have this friend out in Africa, a chap called Efe, and I said to him, Efe, I really want to get to meet Fally, and I'd love him to be on this record. And about half an hour later, I had a WhatsApp, and it was Fally, just in person. And then it just happened so quickly, and I'm so proud of that track. It's called Soar, it's uplifting, and that's what the album is all about.
Now, there's another collaboration a bit closer to home I discovered that during your concert last night. You're actually working on something special with your son. Can you tell us a little bit without giving too much away?
Now, this is a scoop, Jennifer.
Okay.
This is a big scoop here. I'm going to say the title of Ballads, Fables, and Legend.
Ooh.
You heard it here first.
Okay.
My son is an extraordinary musician, and he asked me, you know, would we write a musical together? And so we've been writing it together whilst I've been on tour, sort of remotely, and it's going to be premiered at his university in April. And I'm so, you know, having children is a blessing, of course, but getting to create things with them, putting things out into the world, whether it be with my daughter Savannah, who's danced on many of my videos, and of course is a superstar dancer in her own right now, but or my son, it's just such a blessing. And so the musical is coming, and it's good.
Okay, well, we can't wait to see what happens with that musical. We'll be following it closely. Now, I want to thank you for coming on to the show. We've come to the end of the show. Now, reminder, everyone, Alexis Ffrench's solo piano version of Classical Soul Volume 1 is about to come out, and you're, of course, continuing your tour around Europe.
Yes.
Now, we're finishing with one of my favourite singers right now. He is a Belgian-Egyptian musician called Tamino. Now he's back with his third album called Every Dawn's a Mountain, and this is just as he also kicks off his North American tour. He recorded it in New York, which is now his new home, and it is really a reflection on loss, displacement, and starting fresh. All of it, of course, accompanied with an undertone of Arabic oud. We'll leave you with a live performance of Babylon, which was filmed on a New York City rooftop. Now, for more arts and culture, you can head to our website. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.
Babylon, day comes the vultures, devouring